Excuse me. Yeah, yeah, I'm right back at you like I never left, and I'm gonna go this hard to my last breath. It's Lil Kenny Russell, Canoe Consul Moon. You already know what you're gonna get when you step in this room. You're now dealing with Canoe. Yeah, yeah, I'm here. And whenever I'm here, I'm gonna make the information direct and clear. 'Cause a lot of y'all can't hear. Yeah, yeah. Now, welcome back to Make My Ancestors Great Again. I was doing the Ancestor Speaks inside of my thoughts, but I decided now not to do that. So this is Ancestor Speak, uh, part 5, or I got it as number 5, but it's part 5. I'm gonna do the Ancestor Speaks as a whole nother um, collection of not interviews, but a collection of live streams. So Ancestor Speaks will be its own type of show and topics and things of that nature. When I just bring on the ancestors who have developed what you see in front of you into who you see in front of you today. A lot of their teachings, uh, just sitting at the foot of all the knowledge that they left and things of that nature, peaking their very personality, their characteristic traits, things of that nature. Um, Malcolm X, Malcolm Little, was born in 1925, and I believe Tulsa. Um, it was Oklahoma though. It could have been Tulsa. Let me make sure. Malcolm X was born in 1925 in Omaha, Nebraska. I'm sorry, Omaha, Nebraska. So he was born as Malcolm Little. Then he come into the knowledge of the Nation of Islam up under the tutelage of, uh, they refer to him as the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I don't see anything honorable about him. This is my opinion. Um, his name was Elijah Poole, Elijah Muhammad. So later he gained the X, he became Malcolm X, who we notably know him as today. He died in 1965. He wasn't quite 40 years old. He was 39 years old, getting ready to be 40 because he died in February and his birthday was in May. Um, he later became El Hajj Malik Shabazz when he left the Nation of Islam. And he made up his own stuff, Muslim Mosque Incorporated. And this is one of the shining nights, the shining stars of that whole time period. Malcolm had so much knowledge and so little time to do it. He was initially a convict, a con man, and all that type of stuff, a pimp, a thief, a hustler. He did a lot of things, and then he gradually came into becoming the Malcolm X as we know it, from a gentleman he met in prison. And he, put everything he had left of his life into becoming this shining figure that we respect today. So we're going to hear from Malcolm X. And the page that I got this short video from is called Fearless Quotes. And it has Malcolm on there, distinctively being Malcolm, very vibrant, very alive, very positive, but very serious at the same time. So we're going to look at that as just a short video. You can go to the brother page, Fearless Quotes, follow him. And I don't own the video, but this is a fair use. So like, share, subscribe, comment, and I thank you for watching. Let's hear from Malcolm.
Criticize us.
You say then that the United States is not the black man's country.
Definitely
American
not.
laws
No,
are
no.
not black man's laws.
No. So,
American laws are not the black man's laws.
well, the laws here in America were made by white people for the benefit of white people. The Constitution was written by whites for the benefit of whites. It was never written for the benefit of blacks. And when you read the Constitution, I think in Article 1, Article 1, Section 2, or Section 1, Article 1, some one of the two, and it's in the Constitution. It says that it classifies black people as 3/5 of a man. 3/5 of a man, subhuman, less than a human being. It relegates us to the level of cattle, hogs, chickens, cows, a commodity that could be bought and sold at the will of the master. No, it was written by whites for the benefit of whites and to the detriment of blacks. And when a black man stands up talking about his constitutional rights, he's out of his mind.
Malcolm, again, take my hat off to Malcolm. Malcolm X is who I most closely wanted to resemble in my youth. I knew about Martin Luther King before Malcolm. Well, maybe paralleling, maybe probably parallel at the same time I learned about him, because I learned about these two gentlemen in elementary school, 122nd Street School in Los Angeles, California. Um, they would teach about Malcolm X because he had the I Have a Dream speech. And it was more something that they wanted to put out there because it was a African man begging to be closely and give me some equality type of thing. And a lot of people was with this. They understood this type of revolting. He was revolting, saying, "Hey, I'm not going to take this mistreatment anymore." But he did it in a non-violent type of manner. He would go do sit-ins. He even had one called the Children's Crusade. I might do something on Brother Martin. Um, I respect what he did, but I'm not a respecter of how he did it. Okay, if that makes any sense. Um, he had a children's crusade where the children would go sit in these restaurants and things, and they would get beat. They would go to jail, but since they was children, their parents would just come get them out. And they came out with this because they got tired of the adults getting these petty crimes, and after a while, it'd be harder and harder for you to get out. It would hold you for a day, 2 days, 3 days. And then after a while, they would, start messing with you. So they had the bright idea, him and a partner, let's have a children's crusade. And they took them down in the bottom of a church, a basement. Um, they did protests, and they would do it out, like act it out, and pour milk on them, spit on them, slap them, make them get accustomed to what's going to happen out in the world because the children wanted to help. So I'm not a respecter of that, but they would teach about Martin all the time because the speech was so great. And he was doing it in a way that they thought it should be done. And when I seen Malcolm, a movie came out about Malcolm by Spike Lee in the 90s. I believe it was anywhere from 94 to 96. And my uncle Nathan was in the Nation of Islam. He rose all the way up to the Fruit of Islam, FOI, which is a powerful, close movement that protects, at this time, it was the Honorable Minister Farrakhan. I don't see nothing honorable about him either, but that's my opinion. Um, so he took me to see the movie, me and my uncle Raymond, and we were in our teenage years. Like I say, it was roughly 94 through 96. I don't know the date of the movie, but Spike Lee had a motion picture come out. So he took us to see it. He was a mailman too. So he took us in this mail truck. He bought a mail truck or something like that. I don't think he was a mailman. I'm sorry. He bought a mail truck. They used to sell them at the auction once the mail carriers was done with them. They would just sell them. And it still had, like mail stuff on it, whatever case may be. This was in Los Angeles as well. He took us to see the movie. And when I seen that movie, it changed everything. I wanted to be more masculine, militant. I wanted to be a strikingly upright example to everything. I still got into foolishness in my teenage years as far as drinking and smoking. Because see, the Malcolm X and the motion picture didn't do any of that. They showed him in his stages before he turned into this, and he was doing all this stuff. So once I seen it, it went into my subconscious mind, and it stored that up in there. So I always had respect for him subconsciously and consciously. But I didn't start administering the no smoking, no drinking, all this type of stuff until well after my teenage years. Because like any other young child, I did all that silliness. But today I don't do any of that stuff. And it's been over 20 something years that I don't smoke or drink, and I never will again because it's not meant for human consumption. Um, these are just stories. Every time I think about Malcolm X, I remember in the 90s when my uncle Nathan took me to see this gentleman on motion picture, and the great Denzel Washington is the one that depicted him. He was the star of the movie, and it blew my mind. So from there on, I wanted to be more of like Malcolm X than any other figure that I had seen at that time. And he was something else. The movie made it seem like he was more of a righteous terminator, if you will. He was doing everything righteous in a militant manner. He wasn't to be toyed with. He wasn't to be played with. He wasn't taking no for an answer. And he was trying to go stand up against anything that he's seen unrighteous, even his own people. At the end of the day, he stood up against his own Nation of Islam group when he called out his teacher at the time, Elijah Muhammad. Like I say, they say honorable, but I don't see anything honorable about Elijah Muhammad at that time. And I still don't today. But that's my opinion. Malcolm stood up against Elijah Muhammad and called him out on all the kids that he had out of wedlock, which means that he just was taking young children and planting his seed. And they brought that up in the movie. And his rebuttal was, I must plant my seed and fertile soil because it's the fulfillment of prophecy. So, I mean, Malcolm X stood up against them, knowing he would stand up against death, and death soonly followed after he had that. So it's a lot of speculation. Did the Nation of Islam kill him? Which brother put on a Netflix, Who Killed Malcolm, and he ended it. One of the gentlemen with a shotgun, he was from the New Jersey chapter of the Nation of Islam, and he did murder Malcolm X. So the Nation of Islam, I don't care if you try to say they tied it up with the FBI. The Nation of Islam is responsible for killing one of the most pulverizing, prominent, and positive figures that we've seen in this lifetime. And all you have left is a shell of a man, a sweet talking nothing who's never did nothing in a militant or masculine way. He looks soft. I'm saying this about Farrakhan. Like I said, he's nothing honorable about him, but these are my thoughts, my opinions. So rest in peace, Malcolm. Take my hat off to you. I love you. And I'll forever be in debt to you for leaving so much knowledge. And another thing I think about is these foolish Moors who stand up and quote all that silly law. Malcolm was saying that they categorized us as 3/5 of the human being. So they came with a 14th Amendment, which is supposed to have rectified that and said, okay, now everybody who was born here is a natural human being. But why was that there? So if the Constitution, I didn't heard some Moors say, the black man wrote the Constitution and the Constitution is a black man law and all this old type of stuff. The Moors are sick. Every time I think about Malcolm, when I hear that quote he just said, anybody that thinks that they can stand up as a black man and say, I know my constitutional right, they're out of their minds. I think of the Moors in totality, all of the Moors today, because they're silly people running around here talking about law. You don't have no law and you're outside of your natural human culture container. And I have Malcolm on my shirt. As you can see, it's abstract, if you will, but it's like a silhouette of Malcolm. So again, rest Malcolm. May his soul rest and his spirit continue to be lifted up to the ancestors. It's Lil Kenny Russell, Kanoom, Consul Moon. You already know what you're going to get when you step in the room. You're now dealing with Kanoom. This is what I do, and I love to do it. And before I take back what I said, I add some more to it. The views and opinions that I just went through on this video is 100% how I feel every day, twice on Sundays, and on holidays as well. I don't care about the Moors because they put forth foolish silliness into the community. The Nation of Islam, since Malcolm X has passed away, in my opinion, they do nothing but foolish silliness and nonsense. They put that forth in the community. Got with L. Ron Hubbard and pushed his book and went through the Scientology community and put out the books about mnemonics and all this old type of stuff, whatever it was called. And that's silliness. If you go back, you'll see they say, can a white man be reformed? They say no, a devil cannot be reformed. But you got Farrakhan now, he turned it around so it can be all inclusive. And I got video and audio of him saying white men and everybody can join the Nation of Islam. Like, share, subscribe, comment, and I thank you for watching. And remember, education and preparation is the first step to retaliation. So before you pick up a weapon, pick up some knowledge. Yeah.